Big Bang was proposed by a theist, like by a priest, I mean.
So,
So basically, Albert Einstein, his first theory of the universe was that it was a steady state for an infinite amount of time. It's always been like that, with gravity and then an opposing force being like the opposite of gravity. The priest came in with the Big Bang theory, and he even went with Einstein. They had a conversation, and Einstein believed in him. And towards the end of his life, Einstein sort of became a theist because he believed in the Big Bang. And Big Bang has its roots in Christianity, which is not to say that it can't also be related
what?
to atheism.
No, it
I
doesn't.
feel like, yeah, it does. The
What?
priest made the Big Bang because
By
God created light.
no.
It created the
What?
universe with
He
light
was a
as an
physicist.
explosion.
Georges
A
Lemaitre?
priest.
He Yeah, he was a physicist. When he discovered that the universe was expanding, he was doing science. He did his work with a telescope and with a pen and paper. He checked his calculations by looking at other scientific textbooks and consulting with other scientists. At no point during the whole process of figuring out if the universe is expanding at what rate it does, did he ever look at the pages of Genesis or anything like that. He was
Wait,
doing
which one are you talking
science,
about?
not apology. I'm talking about Georges Lemaitre.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
There's no theology in the Big Bang.
Well, I feel like for the Big Bang, you can relate it to both atheism and theism because God created the universe with a bright blast. He said, "Let there be light." And if you see the picture of the Big Bang, or at least when they zoomed in as far as they could, it was basically just all heat and all light. So it sort of correlates to the Bible in that way, which is what people will use to justify that the Big Bang is biblical.
Yeah,
I'm
but
trying to read both sides here. I'm not really trying to pick a side.
sure,
I'm not that good with words.
sure.
So next one I want to say is the Earth is billions of years old, which I do believe, but I feel like there is like a discrepancy with carbon dating because they've had like fossils from millions of years ago and changed some of the variables, and it becomes like when they carbon date it again, it's 10,000 years. So there are some variables that can choose that, but I do believe the Earth is billions of years old. But
Okay,
that
well,
also doesn't really
good.
disable the Bible either, because in the Bible, when there was the whole universe age thing, it wasn't made by any of the prophets or anything like that. It was made by a translator who wrote the age off of what he thought it was by doing calculations of the Bible. And a few couple of years after that, like a few decades maybe, then is when they started carbon dating things. But nowhere in like the original Bible or any of the prophets did they write the age of the universe.
Well, yeah, except they said when it was created and the generations of everybody are given and how long they lived. And so that's how Usher did the chronology backwards. So
Yes,
you can say
also,
that, but you have to claim that the Bible is not literally true.
yeah, that is what I have been saying, that they use metaphors. Another thing is it said God created the earth in 7 days, but going back to Hebrew, that can also
Six
be
days.
translated with sort of a metaphorical mindset because it is also said that God views a day as like 100 years because time is not the same for him as it is for us. So for him, it could have been
Sure.
7 days, and for us, it could have been billions of years.
Yeah, but don't you think knowing what the truth is important? And if we can't use the but if so, what we're doing here is we're using known science because hundreds of years ago, people weren't saying that the Bible isn't literally true in this regard, but now we are. So what we're doing is we're using known empirical scientific data to figure out how to interpret the Bible, which means that what what actual empirical or epistemological use does the Bible even have? if its words are vague and we can stretch them to mean whatever we want in light of information that we don't use the Bible to collect.
Wait, what did you say? Oh, I was blinking out.
Oh, man, I said a lot of things.
I'm sorry, my internet's trash.
Oh man, I don't want to say the whole thing again.
You can give me a synopsis.
I'm trying to think of how to synopsisize it. So, God. Okay. What we're doing is we're taking known scientific data and interpreting the Bible, or we're not reading the Bible for what it literally says. We're taking known scientific data and interpreting the words of the Bible to coincide with that. So if that's the case, then what use are the words of the Bible if, in the light of objective fact finding, when something in the Bible doesn't correlate with that objective fact finding methodology, we just say, well, it's just a metaphor. Like, we're not deriving any truth from the Bible and from other sources. So why think of it as a source of truth?
Yeah, as I said as the beginning, I'm debating through like a halfway, half full sort of thing. I'm debating as a theist, but I don't fully believe in everything. I'm just saying what they sort of believe in.
Sure.
Another thing, evolution is true. I do believe in that, of course. And there is
Okay.
also mentions of God putting evolution into production in the Bible as well.
Donde.
Did you say donde?
Yes.
Yes.
That means where.
I don't I don't know what donde means.
Oh, sorry. It means where.
Uh, so it was a while ago in my youth pastor group that I went to a few years ago. I don't really go there anymore. I'm not really as much into Christianity, so I'm sort of like a few years off of this. But from what I remember, it was back in, I believe, towards the end of the Old Testament. I don't remember which like name of the chapter it was though.
Okay, that's fine. Anything else? Otherwise, I think I'm probably gonna call it a night. I'm tired.
Yeah. Okay. So your faith is equal to all others. What does that mean for the debate?
So if you claim something on faith, it means you don't have evidence. You just believe it because you believe it. So if two people have a disagreement or two different answers for a question, and they both say that I derive my answer through faith, you cannot tip the scale one way or the other.
Yeah, like both ways. It doesn't work if you just believe in faith. If you just use faith as the ground point for it, is what that means.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that. And a miracle is a weak explanation.
Yeah, I think any supernatural. I think it's just a cop out for anything. To claim that anything was a miracle. There's no really way you could validate that. You'd only have to make an argument from ignorance or something. You'd have to. You'd be in the end. You'd be left making an argument from ignorance or something similar.
Like coincidences being said as a miracle, for example, experiencing a near death
Yes.
experience and being saved from it. But
Yes.
for example, I've almost died like 50 times. I mean, car crash when I was born,
Classic.
drowned, and I do believe those are coincidences that I was saved. I don't believe they were miracles because I don't believe that God really intervenes as much as people believe he does. I feel like he created the universe and he created humans, but they are their own will and they do what they want to do. And if they end up where they end up, they end
Yeah. Sorry, I was blocking some anti-Semite in the comments section. All right. Well, we agree on a lot, so we don't really have anything to debate. So I'm going to let you go, but thank you.